Reading through the Bible in a year, August 4th. Judges 18, Acts 22, Jeremiah 32, and Psalms 1 through 2. In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites was seeking an inheritance for themselves to live in. For until that day, an inheritance had not been allotted to them as a possession among the tribes of Israel. So the sons of Dan sent from their family 5 men out of their whole number, valiant men from Zorah and Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said to them, "Go, search the land." And they came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. When they were near the house of Micah, they recognized the voice of a young man, the Levite, and they turned aside there and said to him, "Who brought you here? And what are you doing in this place? And what do you have here?" And he said to them, "Thus and so has Micah done to me, and he has hired me, and I have become his priest." Scrolling up. There we go, verse 5. And they said to him, "Inquire of God, please, that we may know whether our way on which we are going will be prosperous." The priest said to them, "Go in peace. Your way in which you are going has Yahweh's approval." Then the 5 men departed and came to Laish and saw the people who were living in it in security, after the manner of the Sidonians, quiet and secure. For there was no ruler humiliating them for anything in the land, and they were far from the Sidonians and had no dealings with anyone. When they came back to their brothers at Zorah and Eshtaol, their brothers said to them, "What do you report?" They said, "Arise, let us go up against them. For we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And will you sit still? Do not delay to enter to possess the land. When you enter, you will come to a secure people with a spacious land, for God has given it into your hand, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth." Then, from the family of the Danites, from Zorah and Eshtaol, 600 men armed with weapons of war set out. They went up and camped at Kiriath Jearim in Judah. Therefore, they called that place Mahane Dan to this day. Behold, it is west of Kiriath Jearim. They passed from there to the hill country of Ephraim and came to the house of Micah. Then the 5 men who went to spy out the country of Laish said to their kinsmen, "Do you know that there are in these houses an ephod and household idols, and a graven image and a molten image? Now therefore consider what you should do." They turned aside there, and came to the house of the young man, the Levite, to the house of Micah, and asked him of his welfare. These 600 men, armed with their weapons of war, who were of the sons of Dan, stood by the entrance of the gate. Now the 5 men who went to spy out the land went up, and entered there, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and household idols, and molten image, while the priest stood by the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. When these went into Micah's house and took the graven image, the ephod, the household idols, and the molten image, the priest said to them, "What are you doing?" They said to him, "Be silent, put your hand over your mouth, and come with us, and be to us a father and a priest. Is it better for you to be a priest to the house of one man, or to be the priest to a tribe and a family in Israel?" The priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod and the household idols and the graven image and went among the people. Then they turned and departed, and put the little ones and the livestock and valuables in front of them. When they had gone some distance from the house of Micah, the men who were in the houses near Micah's house assembled and overtook the sons of Dan. They cried to the sons of Dan, who turned around and said to Micah, "What is the matter with you that you have assembled together?" He said, "You have taken away my gods which I made, and the priests, and have gone away. And what do I have besides? So how can you say to me, 'What is the matter with you?'" The sons of Dan said to him, "Do not let your voice be heard among us, or else fierce men will fall upon you, and you will lose your life with the sons of your with the lives of your household." So the sons of Dan went on their way, And when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back to his house. They took what Micah had made, and the priest who had belonged to him, and came to Laish, to a people quiet and secure, and struck them with the edge of the sword, and they burned the city with fire. And there was no one to deliver them, because it was far from Sidon, and because they had no dealings with anyone. And it was in the valley which is near Beth Rehob. And they rebuilt the city and lived in it. They called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born in Israel. However, the name of the city formerly was Laish. The sons of Dan set up for themselves the graven image, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of the Danites until the day of the captivity of the land. So they set up for themselves Micah's graven image, which he had made, all the time that the house of God was at Shiloh. Bringing through the rest of the notes here. Let's move on now to Acts chapter 22. Brethren and fathers, hear my defense which I now offer to you. And when they heard that he was addressing them in the Hebrew language or dialect, they became even more quiet. And he said, I am a Jew, born of Tarsus in Cilicia, but brought up in this city, educated under Gamaliel, strictly according to the law of our fathers, being zealous for God, just as you all are today. I persecuted this way, remember that name that they had for Christianity, to the death, binding and putting both men and women into prisons, and as also the high priest and all the council of elders can testify. From them I also received letters to the brethren, and started off for Damascus, in order to bring even those who were there to Jerusalem, as prisoners to be punished. But it happened that as I was on my way, approaching Damascus about noontime, a very bright light suddenly flashed from heaven around all around me. And I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And I answered, Who are you, Lord? And he said to me, I am Jesus the Nazarene, whom you are persecuting. And those who were with me saw the light, to be sure, but did not understand the voice of the one who was speaking to me. And I said, What shall I do, Lord? And the Lord said to me, Get up and go on into Damascus. And there you'll be told of all that has been appointed for you to do. But since I could not see because of the brightness of that light, I was led by the hand by those who were with me, and came into Damascus. A certain Ananias, a man who was devout by the standard of the law, and well spoken of by all the Jews who lived there, came to me, and standing near said to me, Brother Saul, receive your sight. And at that very time I looked up at him, and he said, The God of our fathers has appointed you to know his will, and to see the righteous one, and to hear an utterance from his mouth. For you will be a witness for him to all men of what you have seen and heard. Now, why do you delay? Get up and be baptized, and wash away your sins, calling on his name. It happened when I returned to Jerusalem, and was praying in the temple, that I fell into a trance. And I saw him saying to me, Make haste, get out of Jerusalem, quickly, because they will not accept your testimony about me. And I said, Lord, he themselves understand that in one synagogue after another I used to imprison and beat those who believed in you. And when the blood of your witness Stephen was being shed, I also was standing by approving and watching over the coats of those who were slaying him. And he said to me, Go, for I will send you far away to the Gentiles. They listened up to him up to this statement. And then they raised their voices and said, Away with such a fellow from the earth, for he should not be allowed to live. Perfectly content to listen to what he had to say, until he mentioned that their God is also the God of the Gentiles, and that he offers salvation to them as well. This is just a bridge too far for them to handle. And as they were crying out and throwing off their cloaks and tossing dust into the air, the commander ordered him to be brought into the barracks, stating that he should be examined by scourging so that they might find out the reason why they were shouting against him that way. But when they had stretched him out with thongs, basically there's this large basic boulder that they have, and they would have these metal straps that go around your wrist, and they would have a basically a buckle. So your arms are stretched over this so that you can't get away and you can't move. And they rip off your cloak and they whip you on your back. That's what they're about to do to him. So they had him stretched out with the thongs. Paul said to the centurion who was standing by, "Is it lawful for you to scourge a man who is a Roman and uncondemned?" When the centurion heard this, he went to the commander and told him, saying, What are you about to do? For this man is a Roman." The commander came, I'm assuming very quickly, and said to him, "Tell me, are you a Roman?" He said, "Yes." The commander answered, "I acquired this citizenship with a large sum of money." Paul said, "But I was actually born a citizen." Therefore, those who were about to examine him, again, whip him, immediately let go of him. And the commander also was afraid when he found out that he was a Roman, because he had put him in chains. But on the next day, wishing to know for certain why he had been accused by the Jews, he released him and ordered the chief priests and all the council to assemble, and brought Paul down and set him before them. And moving on now to Jeremiah chapter 2. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh in the 10th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. Now at that time the army of the king of Babylon was besieging Jerusalem, and Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the guard, which was in the house of the king of Judah, because Zedekiah, king of Judah, had shut him up, saying, "Why do you prophesy, saying, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I am about to give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will take it. And Zedekiah, king of Judah, will not escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans, but he will surely be given into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will speak with him face to face and see him eye to eye." This is super important. Remember that. This is what Zedekiah is complaining about, that Jeremiah is saying that he will see the king of Babylon face to face and eye to eye. Remember that. "And he will take Zedekiah to Babylon, and he will be there until I visit him, declares Yahweh. If you fight against the Chaldeans, you will not succeed." And Jeremiah, replying to him, says, "The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Behold, Hanamel, the son of Shallum, your uncle, is coming to you, saying, Buy for yourself my field which is in Anathoth, or at Anathoth, for you have the right of redemption to buy it." Then Hanamel, my uncle's son, came to me in the court of the guard, according to the word of Yahweh, and said to me, "Buy my field, please, that is at Anathoth, which is in the land of Benjamin. For you have the right of possession, and the redemption is yours. Buy it for yourself." Then I knew that this was the word of Yahweh. And I bought the field, which was at Anathoth, from Hanamel, my uncle's son, and I weighed out the silver for him, 17 shekels of silver. I signed and sealed the deed, and called in witnesses, and weighed out the silver on the scales. Then I took the deeds of purchase, both the sealed copy containing the terms and conditions and the open copy. And I gave the deed of purchase to Baruch, the son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, in the sight of Hanamel, my uncle's son, and in the sight of the witnesses who signed the deed of purchase, before all the Jews who were sitting in the court of the guard. And I commanded Baruch in their presence, saying, "Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, take these deeds, this sealed deed of purchase and this open deed, and put them in an earthenware jar, that they may last a long time. For thus says Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, houses and fields and vineyards will again be bought in this land." After I had given the deed of purchase to Baruch, the son of Neriah, then I prayed to Yahweh, saying, Lord Yahweh, behold, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and by your outstretched arm. Nothing is too difficult for you, who shows loving kindness to thousands, but repays the iniquity of fathers into the bosom of their children after them. O great and mighty God, Yahweh of hosts is his name. Great in counsel and mighty in deed, whose eyes are open to all the ways of the sons of men, giving to everyone according to his ways and according to the fruit of his deeds, who has set signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, and even to this day, both in Israel and among mankind, and you have made a name for yourself, as at this day. You brought your people Israel out of the land of Egypt with signs and wonders, and with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and with great terror, and gave them this land, which you swore to their forefathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey. They came in and took possession of it, but they did not obey your voice or walk in your law. They have done nothing of all that you commanded them to do. Therefore, you have made all this calamity come upon them. Behold, the siege ramps have reached the city to take it. The city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans who fight against it, because of the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, in that threefold destruction of God. And what you have spoken has come to pass, and behold, you see it. You have said to me, O Lord Yahweh, go, buy for yourself the field with money, and call in witnesses, although the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. That the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, or then the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Behold, I am Yahweh, the God of all flesh, and not just the God of Israel. Is anything too difficult for me? Therefore, thus says Yahweh, Behold, I am about to give this city into the hand of the Chaldeans, and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he will take it. The Chaldeans who are fighting against this city will enter and set this city on fire and burn it, with the houses where the people have offered incense to Baal, on their roofs, and poured out drink offerings to other gods to provoke me to anger. Indeed, the sons of Israel and the sons of Judah have been doing only evil in my sight from their youth. For the sons of Israel have been only provoking me to anger by the work of their hands, declares Yahweh. Indeed, this city has been to me a provocation of my anger and my wrath from the day that they built it, even to this day, so that it should be removed from before my face. Because of all the evil of the sons of Israel and the sons of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their leaders, their priests, their prophets, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They have turned their back to me and not their face. Though I taught them, teaching again and again, they would not listen and receive instruction, but they put their detestable things in the house which is called by my name to defile it. They built the high places of Baal that are in the valley of Ben Hinnom to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire to Molech, which I had not commanded them, nor had it entered my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. Now therefore, thus says Yahweh, God of Israel, concerning the city of which you say, It is given into the hand of the king of Babylon by sword, famine, and pestilence. Behold, I will gather them out of all the lands to which I have driven them in my anger, in my wrath, and in great indignation, and I will bring them back to this place, and make them dwell in safety. They shall be my people, and I will be their God. And I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me always, for their own good and for the good of their children after them. I will make an everlasting covenant with them, that will not turn away from them, to do them good, and I will put the fear of me in their hearts, so that they will not turn away from me. I will rejoice over them, to do them good, and will faithfully plant them in this land with all my heart and with all my soul. For thus says Yahweh, just as I brought all this great disaster on this people, so I am going to bring on them all the good that I am promising them. Fields will be bought in this land of which you say, It is a desolation, without man or beast. It is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Men will buy fields for money, sign and seal deeds, call in witnesses in the land of Benjamin, and in the environs of Jerusalem, in the cities of Judah, in the cities of the hill country, in the cities of the lowland, and in the cities of the Negev. For I will restore their fortunes, declares Yahweh. including today in Psalms 1 through 2. All right. Go ahead and read the introduction now. The book of Psalms is filled with the songs and prayers offered to God by the nation of Israel. Their expressions of praise, faith, sorrow, and frustration cover the range of human emotions. Some of the Psalms dwell on the treasure of wisdom and God's word. Others reveal the troubled heart of a mourner. Still others explode with praise to God and invite others to join in song. This diversity is unified by one element. They are centered upon the one and only living God. This Creator God is King of all the earth and a refuge to all who trust in Him. Many of the Psalms are attributed to King David. The writing and collection of the Psalms into their present form spans the 15th to the 3rd centuries BC. Psalm 1. How blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, nor stand in the seat or in the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers. Walk, stand, sit. But his delight is in the law of Yahweh, and in his law he meditates day and night. He would be like a tree firmly planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and its leaf does not wither, and in whatever he does he prospers. The wicked are not so, but they are like chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous. The way of the wicked will perish. Psalm 2. Why are the nations in an uproar, and the peoples devising a vain thing? The kings of the earth take their stand, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us tear their fetters apart and cast away their cords from us. He who sits in the heavens laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. Then he will speak to them in his anger and terrify them in his fury, saying, but as for me, I have installed my king upon Zion, my holy mountain. I will surely tell of the decree of Yahweh. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will surely give the nations as your inheritance, and the very ends of the earth as your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall shatter them like earthenware. Now, therefore, O kings, show discernment. Take warning, O judges of the earth. Worship Yahweh with reverence and rejoice with trembling. Do homage to the Son, that he not become angry and you perish in the way. For his wrath may soon be kindled. How blessed are all who take refuge in him. That's it. The notes here read, kiss the Son, because that's how the ESV renders it, and actually a lot of others render it. Instead of do homage to the Son, it's normally kiss the Son, but that's all. All right, that's it. That's all the reading and all of the notes for today. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold the word of the Lord.